Hi, hello students. How are you all? Hope that you are all doing well. Welcome back to our Physics Truth Loka channel. So, in the last class, we discussed about classical mechanics introduction. So, classical mechanics means once again, let's recall. So, classical mechanics we learnt. Classical mechanics. Classical mechanics we learnt. In this classical mechanics, see, classical mechanics is also called as, we can call it as Newtonian mechanics. Classical mechanics is also called as Newtonian mechanics. Why it is called as Newtonian mechanics means because it is based on Newton's laws. It is completely based on Newton's laws of motion. Newton's laws of motion. Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, as you are already familiar with Sir Isaac Newton. He has done a lot of contribution to this mechanics in physics. So, in order to remember him for a longer time, on his honor, in his honor, this mechanics was given Newtonian mechanics as a name. And next, in this Newtonian mechanics, actually, to what type of particles this Newtonian mechanics we can apply? So that is here we have to understand. So in two ways we can tell to what type of particles or to what type of objects this Newtonian mechanics can be applied. So this can be applied to objects whose size of objects or object size should be far greater than the greater than the size of atomic size. And if you compare, suppose if that object may be car or something, car contains of millions and millions of atoms. So when compared to single size of an atom, that car size is so many times far greater than the size of the atom. Similarly, if we compare the speed of the object, that is speed of object, it should be far less than speed of light. It should be less than speed of light, far less than the speed of light. Speed of light is generally denoted with the symbol c. So only for this type of objects classical mechanics are laws of laws of Newton's laws of motion which is based on. So classical mechanics results we can apply only for those type of objects whose object size is so many times far greater than the size of the atom, and whose object speed is so many times far less than the speed of the light. So these type of particle, for example, if you take a car is moving on a road, and for that car we can analyze the behavior of motion of the bodies, and also we can discuss about the cause of motion of the body. Everything we can apply this classical mechanics results to that car, lorry, or whoever, whatever maybe it is. So you can apply that to Kokanaka, Elkapandi, or whatever may be the object whose size is greater than the size of the atom and whose speed is. You know that car can travel with a maximum speed of 250 km per hour, even advanced also. So no object can speed with the speed of the light, can travel with the speed of the light, right? So this is the particle. So in classical mechanics again, so this is the main thing, key points you have to remember here. The size of the objects, here the size of the objects should be far greater than the size of the atom. Object speed should be far less than the speed of the light. So this is the main important boundaries that we have to keep while applying the classical mechanics results to any object or a particle or system of particles. So this classical mechanics, again in the last class I told that it is divided into two branches. So one is statics and another one it is divided into dynamics. Again, this dynamics is again subdivided into two branches we learnt, that is kinetics and kinematics. So we are going to learn, already I discussed about all this. Statics deals with the particles which are in, once again I am remembering, which are in equilibrium, and dynamics deals with the particles which are in non-equilibrium. Equilibrium means if external resultant external force is 0. non-equilibrium means resultant external force not equals to 0. So their equilibrium is resultant force is 0 in the case of either at rest or body moving with uniform velocity. Here the body is accelerated, it is not moving with uniform velocity. And I told about the differences of kinematics and kinetics also in the last class. That is, kinematics, it describes only the behavior of motion of bodies. It won't tell us about the cause of motion. But in kinetics, along with the behavior of motion of bodies, cause of motion is also discussed here. So again, this kinematics we are going to learn. This kinematics we are going to learn in two ways. So kinematics we are going to learn. This kinematics again we are going to learn in two ways. One is, first we are going to learn about this kinematics in one-dimensional motion. Kinematics in one-dimensional motion. Later, based on the principles that we have learned in one-dimensional motion, we develop the same concepts in two-dimensional motion also. So kinematics in two-dimensional motion also. This is one-dimensional motion or 1D, one-dimensional, and this is two-dimensional. So in first we are going to learn about kinematics in one-dimensional motion. In kinematics one-dimensional motion, so one-dimensional motion means what? Generally one-dimensional motion is also called as rectilinear motion. Rectilinear motion. Rectilinear motion means again what? So rectilinear motion means motion of a body along a straight line. Motion of a body along a straight line. Motion of a body along a straight line. So this is rectilinear motion, and it is also called as one-dimensional motion. So one-dimensional motion means, again we can write, suppose if a particle is there. See, all these positions, so suppose anything, here motion means we are going to learn in kinematics, the main thing is some motion parameters. We have to keep in, we are going to learn about, to learn kinematics in depth, so we have to learn about some motion parameters, or we can write them as basic terms and terminology, or basic terms and terminology, basic terms and terminology related to kinematics, and this kinematics that we are going to learn, it is actually linear kinematics. This kinematics we are going to learn, it is also called as linear kinematics. So linear kinematics means it is not having any rotational effect, it is having only translatory effect. So this is what is called linear kinematics. In this linear kinematics, that too especially linear kinematics deals with the particles which are in one-dimensional motion. So in this linear kinematics, we are going to learn about linear kinetics. These motion parameters, what I said, no? So those motion parameters are also called as linear kinematic variables. Linear kinematics variables. Motion parameters are also called as linear kinematic variables. So these linear kinematic variables are, what are linear kinematic variables and are, we are going to see now. Linear kinematic variables that we are going to learn here in this chapter are actually, so linear kinematic variables we can learn here, it is distance, generally denoted by the letter S, displacement generally denoted by the letter S bar, and the third linear kinematic variable that we are going to, this is linear displacement actually, linear kinematic variables means, and next we are going to learn about linear speed. So generally in short we will call it as linear speed, generally denoted by the letter V, and we are going to learn about velocity, linear velocity. So all these are linear kinematic, linear velocity, generally denoted by the letter V bar, and we are going to learn about acceleration, generally denoted by the letter A bar. So these are the basic terms and terminology we are going to learn about, and in this linear kinematic variables we are going to learn. So all these variables we have to learn means See, for any particle, what is the distance, what is the position of the particle? Means whenever we are talking like that, we have to say from a reference point, from a reference position. So suppose if a particle, so that's what I am going to tell. So from reference, what is the displacement of the particle, what is the speed of the particle? So from where, from reference point we got. So first of all, we have to learn here what is that reference frame in this reference frame. So reference frame, it is a very important term that we have to learn before learning about all these linear kinematic. Reference frame means it is the place or region where the observations are taken. Suppose you are observing a blackboard or green board in your class. The place from where you are observing that means you are observing from your bench in the classroom. So that bench will become act as a reference frame. So that is reference frame. So we can simply write it is the place from where the observations means what we will take in those observations. What we will take, suppose you are observing a car going some place, you are standing here and you are taking observations of the car. That is, in observations what you will take, you will take about these observations only. So what is the distance traveled by the car? Observations say the distance traveled by the car, displacement traveled by the car, speed of the car, velocity of the car, what is the acceleration of the car, how it is changing. All these are observations. So the motion parameters are linear kinematic variables. So the place from where these observations are taken, from where observations are made or taken, is called reference frame. So this is the reference frame. This type of reference frame is again divided into, we can divide this reference frame into two types. So one is this reference frame is divided into inertial reference frame, inertial frame of reference frame or inertial reference frame, and one more is non-inertial frame of reference, non-inertial frame of reference or non-inertial reference frame. So what is inertial frame of reference and what is non-inertial frame of, you observe. So again whatever we learned first, that only. In inertial frame of reference, generally this frame of reference is either at rest, this frame of reference is either at rest or it may be moving with constant velocity. We can say the reference frame is in uniform motion. And non-inertial reference frame means it is in non-uniform motion. It is moving with non-uniform velocity, or we can say it is in non-uniform motion. See, reference frame is at rest means net force 0. Net force is 0. Reference frame is moving with constant velocity. Again net force is 0. Uniform motion. Reference frame is non-uniform motion and there is a change in velocity. Now there is a change in velocity to change, net force not equals to 0. Net force is equal to 0 means again acceleration is 0 here. Here also acceleration is 0. Here acceleration is not equals to. Again, what are the points that we learned before? Those only coming again, you see. So that means it's all physics is completely depends upon these basics on. See, net force is 0 for a body which is at rest, or for a reference frame which is at rest. That reference frame net force 0 means it is unaccelerated frame. This is also unaccelerated frame. So that means here these and all things you can learn very easily. See, suppose here see here we can take a best examples for rest. Suppose this reference frame rest means here you see a person is there here standing on the ground. So this is the ground. So a person is standing on the ground like this and he is observing a ball which is moving with the speed of, let us suppose, some 5 meter per second. Ball is moving with the speed of, or 25 meter per second it is moving with the speed. See, person standing on the ground. This boy is at rest. So this boy is at rest and is observing the speed of the ball to be as 25. Then we can write here the speed or velocity of the ball with respect to ground. Velocity of the ball with respect to ground. It is observed as, actually we can write this as, later we will learn velocity of the ball minus velocity of the ground. Velocity of the ball is 25 it is 25 minus velocity of the ground is 0. So we can write velocity of the ball with respect to ground is 25. That means here from ground reference frame, if the ball is observed, then we are getting the velocity of the ball as 25 meter per second. So here this is the inertial reference frame where the reference frame is at rest. Here the boy or the ground is can be considered as reference frame. And now suppose if another observer is there, is in a trolley. So on the ground this trolley. So observer is now in the trolley, and this trolley is moving with the speed of let us suppose this trolley is moving with the speed of some 10 meter per second. This trolley is moving with the speed of 10 meter, and the same ball, this ball is this is the ball. This ball is again, it is moving with the speed of 20 meter. Same ball. The same ball, it is moving with the speed of 25 meter per second. The same ball, when it is observed by the ground reference frame, the velocity of the ball came out to be 25 meter per second. Suppose the same ball velocity of the ball with respect to the reference frame here, trolley reference frame, velocity of the ball with respect to trolley. Here we can write velocity of the ball minus velocity of the trolley. Velocity of the ball is how much here? 25 plus 25, and these both are 25 minus 10, we will get it as 15 meter per second plus 15. That means for a person or for this boy who is moving along with the trolley with a velocity of 10 meter per second or speed of 10 meter per second towards right, the ball appears to, for this boy, the ball is traveling with a speed of 15 meter per second, moving with a speed of 15 meter per second towards the same direction. So actually ball is moving with the speed of 20, but for this reference frame, the ball velocity came out to be, ball is observed to be moving with a speed of 15 meter per second now. So this reference frame is moving with a constant velocity, that is 10 meter per second. This is also called as inertial frame of reference. But coming to non-inertial frame of reference, here acceleration is not equal to 0. That means here we can say the same, you concentrate clearly. Suppose here the trolley is there, another trolley, so another boy was there, and he is observing the same ball, 25 meter per second, which is moving with a constant velocity. Now at a time of t is equal to 0 seconds, time is equal to 0 seconds. So suppose this ball is by the time we are observing, this trolley is having it is moving with a constant acceleration, let us suppose 10 meter per second square, and by the time we are observing, that is at the time t is equal to 0, whenever we are observing, it is having some initial velocity u is equal to 10 meter per second. So when it is having 10 meter per second in the towards right direction, its acceleration is 10 meter per second. At that time, if you observe what is the velocity of the ball with respect to this accelerated frame, so velocity of the ball with respect to this accelerated trolley, you will get it as velocity of the ball minus velocity of the accelerated trolley. Velocity of the accelerated trolley at that instant is 10 meter per second. Again you can write 25 minus 10 is 15 meter per second. Velocity of the ball with respect to accelerator. But since the trolley is accelerating here, by the next second this trolley will gain a velocity. So in the t is equal to 1 second. In the first second it is having 10 meter, 0 seconds. After 1 second it is having constant acceleration 10 meter per second, means by the next second it increases its velocity by 10. That is, by the next second its velocity increases to 20 meter per second. And again the boy was there in the trolley, the same boy, and this boy is observing this ball which is moving with a constant velocity 25 meter per second. So now for this boy, when the trolley is accelerating, in the next second, for the same boy who is in the same trolley, but in this second, the velocity of the ball with respect to this trolley comes out to be now 25 minus 20 is plus 5 meter per second you will get. So the velocity, so in accelerated frame of reference, again from second to second, from instant to instant, again the velocity of the ball is changing. So this is accelerated frame of reference will say. In the next second, if you say it will become 30, and you will get at a time of t is equal to 2 seconds, the velocity of the trolley will become 30. So velocity of the ball with respect to trolley, you will get it as velocity of the ball minus velocity of the trolley. So velocity of the ball actually plus 25. This is minus velocity of the trolley is 30, you will get plus 30. 25 minus 30 is minus 5 meter per second. What does it mean? So when at a time of t seconds, this boy, when the trolley is moving with a speed of 30 meter per second, if he sees this ball, then the ball appears to be moving with a speed of 5 meter per second, but in opposite direction. Minus means here that is the opposite direction. So like this, based on the reference frame, the velocity of the ball is changing here. Correct or not? So based on the reference frame, the velocity of the ball is changing here continuously. So this is so if the reference frame is changing, say initially in the ground frame of reference, ball's velocity came out to be 25. In the uniform, if the trolley is moving with a constant velocity, ball's velocity came out to be 50. If the trolley is also accelerating and it is changing its velocity from second to second, then ball's velocity is changing continuously from second to second. So that means these are all reference frames. So some physical quantities here you also observe the velocity of the ball is changing, or it is depending upon reference frame. Such physical quantities which depends upon reference frame are called relative physical quantities. That also we are going to learn. But here you get a clear idea about inertial frame and non-inertial frame. Inertial frame of reference, net acceleration is 0. So that's why these frames of reference are also called as unaccelerated frames of reference. Unaccelerated frames of reference. Inertial frames of reference are also called as unaccelerated frames of reference. And in non-uniform motion, this is having acceleration. So that's why these non-inertial frames are also called as accelerated frames of reference. Accelerated frames of reference. Accelerated frames of reference. So that's all for today. Again, we shall continue our session. In the next class, we are going to learn about what are relative physical quantities, absolute physical quantities, and these motion parameters also we are going to learn. Thank you very much.